Do you have a spot in your garden that receives limited sunlight? Don't let that space go to waste. With a little creativity, you can transform it into a productive compost bin. In this video, we'll show you how to repurpose an old plastic water tank into a thriving composting system. Composting in a shady area can be a game changer for gardeners. Not only does it make use of a previously unused space, but it also helps to keep your garden tidy and organized. By containing your composting process in a designated bin, you can avoid the mess and odors that often come with composting. In this video, we'll take you through the step-by-step process of creating your own compost bin using an old plastic water tank. From preparing the tank to adding the perfect mix of compost materials, we'll show you how to create a thriving composting system that produces rich, nutrient-dense compost for your garden. Proper composting techniques are essential for creating a healthy and thriving composting system. In this article, we'll cover the importance of airflow, moisture, and balancing green and brown materials in your compost bin. By following these simple tips, you can avoid common composting mistakes and create a system that produces high-quality compost for your garden. With this simple and effective composting system, you can turn your shady garden corner into a productive and thriving compost bin. Not only will you be reducing waste and creating a natural fertilizer for your garden, but you'll also be improving the overall health and productivity of your plants. So let's get started and turn your garden into a thriving oasis. First, we'll start by preparing the tank. Take your plastic water tank and make a large hole at the bottom. This hole serves two essential purposes. It allows earthworms to enter and start working their magic on the compost. And it also prevents rainwater from collecting inside the tank, which could otherwise create a soggy mess. Earthworms will naturally move up through the hole, helping to break down the compost material faster while enriching it with nutrients. Excess water will drain right out, so the compost remains well aerated and healthy. Next, you'll need to drill holes all around the tank. These holes are important because they improve airflow inside the container. When air circulates well, it keeps the compost from becoming too compacted, which helps prevent bad smells from developing. Good airflow also keeps the microorganisms inside happy, so they work harder and break down materials faster. When there's enough oxygen, your compost pile stays balanced and doesn't start to smell, making it a much better experience overall. Once you've got the tank ready, you can place it in your shady garden spot. Start by adding a layer of decomposed manure or compost to the bottom of the tank. This initial layer will help attract more earthworms and speed up the composting process. If you don't have any compost or manure available, don't worry. It's still okay to proceed without it. This layer is simply a booster, but it's optional. Now it's time to add your compost materials. You can use a mix of grass clippings, fresh manure, chicken droppings, fresh leaves, kitchen scraps, and even a bit of soil. Avoid dairy products, meat, or anything cooked, as these items tend to smell bad and attract pests. Mixing everything together in your container is crucial because it ensures a good balance of materials, which helps the compost break down evenly. The mix of greens, like fresh leaves and grass, and browns, like soil or dry leaves, creates the right conditions for a faster and more efficient composting process. To give the composting process a little extra boost, you can add another small layer of decomposed manure or compost on top of the materials. This helps speed things up, especially if your compost is mainly made up of fresh greens. Finally, give everything a light watering. Water is essential for the microbes in your compost to survive and work their magic. Don't add too much water though, just enough to keep things moist but not soaked. With everything in place, let nature take its course. The earthworms and microorganisms will start breaking down the materials into rich, dark compost. Just remember to avoid adding dairy, meat, or cooked foods, as these will create a smell. Keep an eye on the moisture levels. If it gets too dry, sprinkle a little water. If it's too wet, add some dry leaves or soil to balance it out. In a few months, you'll have beautiful, nutrient-rich compost to feed your garden plants, all made in a shady corner that was previously unused. This simple setup can turn a tricky spot in your garden into a productive compost bin. Plus, you're reusing an old water tank and avoiding a lot of kitchen waste from going to the landfill. The compost you make will enrich your soil naturally, keeping your garden healthy without the need for chemical fertilizers. If you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more tips on gardening, composting, and sustainable practices.